Well, hello, Chicago. We are back. It's time for another episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast. I'm your illustrious host, Justin J-LO, and do we have an episode for you tonight? Not only do we have an amazing special guest, which we will get to after the intro music, but tonight on the podcast, we're talking about acting perceptions and potentially the Super Bowl backlash of Latinas. Why y'all gonna be hating on Latinas, man? Latinas be hot. They shake their thing. That's right. Everybody enjoy it. Shut the fuck up. We're gonna be talking about all that shit. Also, PETA. That's right, PETA. We're not talking about what you stick in hummus. No, we're talking about the people that love animals. But do they love animals too much? Because eventually, pets. It's a word that we use. But should we use it? Should we continue to use it? When you leave your home, do your pets hate that you use the word pets? Do their ears burn when you use the word pets? Discuss tonight. Do we keep using the word pets or not? We might have one bonus topic, and of course, we end every episode with the Jag of the Week. It's all of that this week on the Chicago 60. And now, lady and gentleman, it is time for
Yeah, y'all.
It's lyrical up in this bitch.
Hey, y'all, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here.
That's right. Well, greetings and salutations, Chicagoans. I am, of course, your illustrious host, Justin J-War. And sitting across from me is my wonderful co-host who does not have coronavirus. We promise it is... Okay, I didn't want to steal your thunder on that. No. And of course, he's a little
thunder stealer is
yes.
Okay. It's okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling a lot better.
I'm feeling a lot better.
That's good.
Except for this.
Except for all of that will be happening, but that's okay. We could not do this without you, good sir.
I appreciate that.
Yes, we could also not do it without the rest of our C60 crew, which is here with us in the booth tonight. We got, of course, Stormin and Norman taking the photos, making me go blind. What's up, Storm and Norman?
Howdy.
Hello, good sir. And back from the nether regions of places of grand adventure and places where actual diseases exist, etc., etc. But someone who has not died from said diseases. We have back from Nepal in India. We've got J-LO.
Oh wow, Joe.
Also coronavirus free.
Yay! Nobody has corona. Woo! All right, Joe. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, also coronavirus free.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you for the repetition. Joe and I spent some time in India, and now we're back. We started in India, now we're back. That doesn't really go. But anyway, now, before we get to our infamous guest who is here with us tonight, who looks much better than all of us, I want to just let you all know that tonight, this episode is sponsored by Chicago construction season. Now, we are in the midst of the winter. The winter is here. It is February. The hedgehog may have said that spring is coming near, but all that means is that construction season is right along the way. That means the roads will be horrible, that the roads will take you forever to get from point A to point B to make C. The buses will take extra long. The Ubers will have longer Uber pool times. It's going to be frustrating. You're going to want to pull your hair out. You're going to want to scream and yell at the top of your lungs. But construction season has this message for you. You can't get out of it. It's happening. So this episode brought to you by construction season. We know that you hate us, but if you want to get anywhere next winter, then deal with it. New construction season. All right. Now, construction season.
Season.
I have some strong words for construction season, but let's move along.
Serious words.
Yes, we'll get to that another time. But anyway, thank you, construction season. Now let's get to the main event, which is our lovely guest.
Yes.
Talented, amazingly talented.
Yep.
This lady sitting in between us is a amazingly talented actor up here, because we learned on another episode we can't say actress anymore. So she is an actor. She is done all kinds of manners of commercials and theater and short film and other comedy sketch things all around the city of Chicago. She also has her own podcast. Not as good as ours, or maybe just as good, or maybe better. Actually, I've listened to it. It's quite good. It's called the Flower Power Podcast. And she also has her own vlog and YouTube show as well. On, I believe it's Isamary. It's Isamary. It's Daisy Isamary. And you know who it is? Isamary right here. It's Daisy. Isamary Hernandez. Daisy, hello.
Hey, what's
Welcome.
up, guys?
Welcome to the Chicago City Podcast.
Welcome.
We're glad you're here.
Well, we are glad you're here. Now that we've got everybody acquainted, cheers to the podcast.
Cheers.
Sorry, guys.
He's not drinking tea. He's drinking tea, but with some scotch, because that is what
Toddy
man
time.
does.
Straight toddy time.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
Pretty good.
Fantastic. Well, Daisy, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing very good. I'm very nervous.
Oh, what?
Even if I'm a podcaster myself, I'm still nervous.
Daisy.
But then I gotta do it by myself in my living room, so.
Right. No, there you go. See, so you're going to be an expert in all things here. Well, we're super excited to have you here. So a little background. You and I met in an acting class at Le Acting Studio. And that was a fun time. It was it theater something?
It
Theater
was
2?
for monologue, right? Monologue?
Theater. No, I didn't do the monologue class. I think it was theater 2 with Adrian.
Was it theater?
Adrian Kurt.
I don't even know what
Theater
class
3.
that was.
Whatever. We met in an acting
Whatever.
class. Go
Screen.
figure. Actors meeting in an acting class.
Yep.
So we met there, and then you started doing a bunch of stuff, and then you started doing a podcast. And I was like, hey, we're doing a podcast. And like a year ago, we're like, hey,
It was a year ago.
come on my podcast. And then
That's awesome.
things happened in life and blah, blah, blah. But now you're here.
No, I'm
You're
so
here now.
excited. It's been a year, you're right. A year
Yes.
when we first started.
I know.
It's called
Now-
persistence, y'all.
That's right.
Yes.
Persistence. It's a thing. So, all right. Well, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of interesting topics. So, number one, I wanted to talk to you. So, again, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody here, but I happen to be white. I'm a white person.
You're
And
very white.
You're
yes,
what?
I'm a very white individual.
Mhm.
And then Ron, you happen to be a black man.
You need to show this so
You're-
people can understand what you're saying.
Yes, you happen to be a black man. That's just in case anybody couldn't see. And Daisy, you happen to you identify as a Latina? Is this correct?
Yes, but a lot of
Okay,
people think
fantastic.
I'm Middle Eastern as well.
Interesting. I can
Yeah.
see that. I
Because
can
of
see
the
that.
eyebrows.
I can see
Very
that.
thick hair.
I can see that because you're sitting right in front of me. Okay, but you are actually a Latina.
Yes.
So-
I am a Latina.
Yes. Oh.
Mexican.
Okay, there you go. That's wonderful. Our friendly neighbors to the south. So now, what's very interesting, and I think what a lot of people don't know, is that there is a lot of acting business for the Latina community here in Chicago. But I don't think a lot of people know about it, which is interesting. And it's got like I've seen all the work that you've been doing, and you've been on a lot of commercials with Univision.
In Spanish, yeah, because I
In
speak
Spanish?
Spanish.
Of
So
course.
I feel like
Yes,
I have
yes.
a lot more of a chance to do more commercials because they speak Spanish, which is a big plus.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of Latinas that say they speak Spanish.
Right.
They book the commercial and then they don't speak Spanish.
Oh.
And they literally switch them that day,
Huh.
which is kind of embarrassing. I would not like to lie and say like,
Fraud.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Fraud.
And then I book the commercial and they send me home because I couldn't speak Spanish. So
Yeah.
that's not cool.
I'm sorry.
Ron's doing like a live while we've got so much shit going on. I feel like I'm at Shreveport.
There's a lot of coverage.
Joe and I were
It's
at
the
a
most
party.
coverage we've ever
Oh my
had.
goodness.
Mhm.
I feel like every inch of myself is covered, and I don't know how I feel about it. Okay, so what I really wanted to know was, so I've known and I've seen that you've done acting for like Univision and like for things involving Spanish
Yes.
and things not involving Spanish. So what I wanted to know, and I would like the world out there to know, and Chicagoans here, are some of the cool things that you have done, but more importantly, what are some of the trends you're seeing with the casting between the two worlds? Are you noting any discrepancies where you're in for the Spanish role specifically? Or are you finding you're getting that equilibrium? What are some things you're noticing? Because I'm curious, being an actor and being late, that
And a male.
and a man. I think I'm a man.
I hope so, dude.
I
It's
really
so
hope
crazy.
so.
I really hope it's something down there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's stop talking about that. Anyway, so what are some things that you're noticing and seeing?
Well, like I said, like
That was
not only
not
am I Latina, but I am a woman, and
Yes.
it gives me a less chance to get some roles.
Mhm.
I feel like, I don't know if it's me, my mind, but every time I audition, I get very self-conscious because either I'm not pretty enough, either I'm not white, I guess you could say. That does take effect on me when I go to castings. I feel like sometimes castings are looking for a specific look, and sometimes that's what it is. I don't get the job because of my look. It doesn't have to. It's nothing to do with being a Latina, being a girl, or anything like that. So, and then I get submitted to a lot of mom roles. I'm 25 years old. I'm not a mom. I don't want kids at this point. So it's crazy to me. But then again, it's like it's such a big. So many roles that are for moms that I get more work because of it. It's hard to be a teenager. So I don't think teenagers get booked as much as moms do. I feel like a lot of Latinas that are my age, they get booked a lot for mom roles, and that's where a lot of my jobs come from.
Now, when you're booked for these mom roles, are you playing a young mom?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not playing like, your age, you being 25 years old and, you have a child and this, you may possibly have a husband or significant other, or they could be kind of playing like that younger, maybe 20, 19, young mom, underage mom, situations like that. Yeah.
Mom in her 30s. I have the look. I could see it, especially depending on how I do my hair. I feel like that has to do a lot with everything. Same thing with African Americans. Sometimes I think maybe they feel like they need to straighten their hair to go to castings. Same thing with me. Like I feel like I need to straighten my hair when I go to castings. I don't feel my best when I have my curly hair, my wavy hair. So that's something that I have to deal with as a woman and as a Latina minority as well.
That's interesting.
Yes. So it's like so many factors that you really don't think about. You guys maybe don't think about, but then I have to be like, okay, well, I gotta straighten my hair today.
This. This is
you guys are screwed.
I think about it.
Makeup.
Being an African American male, we kind of run into the same situations too.
Yes.
So, hopefully they're looking for a male. And
not only that, but they're just looking for one black person, one Latino person. Then you're screwed.
You gotta be that black guy that can pretty much, relate to, the masses. And I've been getting opportunities, so it's been working for me. But at the same time, stuff that I don't book, and I kind of do wonder. Like I wonder if what was it that obviously I didn't have that the cast already chose to not go with me versus somebody else.
I feel like they want us more. Like they want more minorities in their commercials. And then maybe that's something that they think about it. Well, white people think about it as well. And they're just like, oh man, like they want someone more ethnic, someone more something. And then they're the ones kind of feeling left behind as well. So I feel like we all have like a little something.
Yeah, what about the people who look like they're from Sweden? I mean, they got problems too, guys.
Those individuals.
Come on.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Drew. Rocking the Bullets hat today, man. They losing.
It's rough for those Aryans out there, man.
You're really stupid.
I know.
It's real hard being an Aryan. Yeah, it is hard, man.
Very much
It should be.
The stigma that comes on Aryans these days.
Right.
It's hard out there.
Yeah,
it's not as easy as people think. When I was younger, I literally felt like once you get on TV, you're famous.
Oh yeah.
No, that's not
misconception, folks.
Same thing with friends and family. Like there was an interview with Will Smith. I think it was recently when he was in the Bad Boys. The
new one.
Friends, yeah. And then he was saying how your dreams are just you. There's no one there that's gonna support you until the ball starts rolling. And that is true. Like you're by yourself. Like sometimes you feel like your parents or your families are supposed to support you, but at the end they're not going to. These are just dreams where like people are looking at you like you're freaking crazy.
Right.
And I'm crazy.
So it's a one-man show.
Yeah, I've been doing this since I was young, 14 years old.
Oh, okay.
I got headshots. I did like the John Robert Powers situation. And not only that, but as a Latina, I have parents that don't know what's going on and they don't know the business.
Okay.
So when I was young, we actually on the radio, like, if you want to be a Disney star, call this number. And if you're the chosen one, you get free, whatever. And so we ended up doing that. We $2,000 classes for nothing. waste of money, waste of time. Instead of me focusing on using my money for actual acting classes at acting studio or Vagabonds, which I've interned there and I've taken classes as well. And those are classes that are actually going to get you somewhere. Not like, you know, like those classes that I took when I was young. And so actually, I took a break when I was younger in high school just because I didn't know what I was doing. And my mom was the one driving me everywhere. And then I got older, I could drive. I took myself to all the auditions. I know what I'm doing now. So it's like I'm at a different level at this point. But I wish I had the resources when I was younger.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's the same or the same case for everybody. I wouldn't know. I didn't do any of this shit until I got into my 20s. So I have no idea.
That's good though. It's better. Because when you're young, like, you don't, you know?
Yeah.
It's better when you're older, you could take yourself to the auditions and you could defend yourself. And then we did something where we gave money to an agency. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
And we did that when I was younger. So it's like things that you don't do.
Things they don't teach you and you find out the hard way. Yeah. Scams, all the,
But I mean, that's the same thing as well, that you got to start off making mistakes, just like anything, and then you get better. Same thing with my podcast. I stopped doing it. Why? Because I'm scared. I'm scared of everything. And then there's people that tell you like, oh, you're so brave for doing acting. I'm like, yeah, but I'm broke.
The pedals of an actress.
Like I get no's every day, and I book something once in a while, and people are like, when are you gonna? And then my parents are asking me like, so were you gonna get a job? And I recently got a 9-to-5 job. I was telling Justin I just got a job. Yes.
I have one of those.
So it feels like if I gave up. But I'm trying to maneuver everything and try to fit acting as much as possible. And it's kind of working, but at the end of the day, this is something that I don't want to do. And I wish I could just do acting full time, but still be able to afford living on my own and things like that. So
that is the constant struggle. So being able to get regular work.
Everyone's trying to figure out that mystery, how to pull that off here in Chicago without having to uproot your whole entire life and move to California, Atlanta, Vancouver, wherever it is you think that you need to go.
I think that Chicago has been better when it comes to acting. Like I feel like the community is growing here, and I want to stay here because I don't want to go to LA, be another fish in the pond with everyone doing the same thing. Yeah. And it's like it's better for me to stay here or for us to stay here and grow as an actor and be able to travel when we do book something over there. And then also people from LA get booked and then they bring them here to the shows from Chicago. Right. So it's like you never went with anything. So at least we are growing, we are getting better. So I prefer staying here and being one of the first, just like you guys, to start this podcast that involves Chicago. So you could be, throughout the years, grow, get better, and you could be one of the first that started off, with a microphone in the basement or something. I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the plan.
That is what is currently happening here. I was trying to think of a fancy word.
I know. That's why I jump in with
that's your SAT word.
Couldn't come up with it.
I get no problem, but
Yeah, be like this.
Sometimes you have.
I'm not going to hold you to it. It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome.
God, there's so many.
Yeah, I know, right?
Race jokes.
I know. Trust me, I can see it all over your you just got them all there, just loaded. Ready to just so darn time. Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. I
want to hear you guys' perspective. Like, what are your challenges as a male actor?
Well, everything's glorious for me, obviously.
White privilege.
Yes.
You know what?
Sure. It's not.
I feel like
there's so many fucking white dudes.
Yeah.
That it actually is not easy.
I want to hear your story because I feel like sometimes we're very selfish as minorities. We just think about that we are like the underdog and whatever. But I don't think we're listening to you guys as well. And I think that's one of the reasons why America is just bumping heads, because we're not listening to you guys. So
that's actually an interesting point. I don't think anybody's listening to anybody, which is why we have this fucking podcast in the first place. To have, we got an African American, a Latina, and a white person talking about some interesting issues, particularly in the acting world. And the Oscars were last night. That's a whole
Yeah.
Let's see,
Okay.
what do you think that
Yeah.
there wasn't any?
There was
Black
no
people
diversity.
that
It
won,
wasn't.
yeah.
There's. I mean, it was once again. You know, the Oscars are whitewashed. You know. It was cool to see Parasite. You know, when I actually saw that movie.
Yeah.
That was good. I was surprised it didn't win, but it's pretty cool. I definitely wish there was more diversity. You know, in the movies. It's very hard for African Americans to not only be in movies, to be directing and behind the scenes to a elevated level. So we have to be extremely resilient and pretty much do a lot of independent films and do whatever's necessary to get those opportunities. And the thing about for us, we don't have a lot of it's no margin of error. You really have to put your best work forward at all times. You got to carry yourself a certain way so you can get those big opportunities. So it's tough. Something that I deal with that's kind of frustrating. Certain roles that I'll be, get sized for audition and stuff. It may be a certain age. Okay. With facial hair, I can definitely look the age I'm supposed to look. I can have that older look. I run into situations where I'll book a job and I have to shave. Then I get an audition for something that's like, at O'Connor, something like that, like it'd be PD or Chicago Med or something. I can look like I'm, older. I'm like freshly shaved. I go up in there and I'm like, I know I'm not going to get this role. So I can go in there and crush the lines and everything. But when I'm in there, I see guys in there full beards, they look the role and everything. So it's like, all right, here's some practice, So those are things that I run into as far as certain roles, certain ages, things like that. But also, roles that you wish they would have multiple opportunities for African American men. But a lot of times it's only a role for one. Or it may not even be a role for African American, just maybe be that one role for a minority. So that can be me, it can be the Asian guy, it can be the Hispanic guys, whichever one is the best, So those are challenges that, that I experience when it comes to, going in auditions and things like that.
But you guys are better at doing things for yourselves. I feel like Latinos don't do it. They don't support each other as much as Black people do when it comes to acting. The reason I say that because with Black Panther, you guys were honest.
Oh, wow.
You guys were, helping kids try to go
example.
to watch the movie.
Yeah,
you guys celebrated it a lot.
And
then when Coco came out, nobody was supporting it.
Okay.
Just a little bit, but not as much as when Black Panther came out.
I totally understand your
how
point.
it was.
In that regard, in that particular situation, Black Panther being a movie that, basically focused in the region of Africa, where a lot of young Black men, young Black women, they don't know their true history about Africans, We weren't just in caves, anything like that. We had a civilization. We had all that stuff established, but people don't teach that. They don't teach that in Black History Month. We just learn about MLK, Rosa Parks, and they just keep moving. But it's so many other people. They just recycle the same three names. The standards.
The greatest hits.
The greatest hits.
They should take people
Motown.
that are
so many
more you, I guess.
That we need to be teaching so that everyone can know. Wow, because everybody thinks Black people are just what you see on TV, stereotypical, But no, it's not the case, But yeah, Black Panther was definitely something that we all kind of gravitated to. We all kind of felt like we were able to pull ourselves up. It was the largest budget of a movie with all African Americans in. That's never happened before. So that's a first.
Yeah.
And look, that was what, 2018 when that movie came out?
But it's
2017, 2018, something like that. Look how far we had to come to have something like that. So let's see how long it takes to have another opportunity for a $200 million film, with a budget like that, to have just, Black people.
I think we all take a step and then we take a step back.
Yeah.
So it's back and forth. Same thing with the Oscars. We were doing good,
Yeah.
And then boom, we go back to.
Because I even noticed that there were no women directors
as well.
this year. So it's we got to stay consistent. You can't go years without having significant genders and race represented in the Oscars, because I don't want to see Oscars with just all white. Hey, I love everybody, but I just want to watch Oscars with just all white people.
We want to see people that are color as well.
Absolutely, because
women.
we do good work too.
Exactly.
I got a question. Can I throw out a question for you guys
Absolutely.
on the subject? In the Oscars, they have 2 categories for actors, but they have a best actor and a best actor, best supporting actor, best supporting actress. I'm just curious. I just made up this thought just at the very moment now. But
What? You had a thought that happened right now?
yeah.
How crazy!
Yeah.
Thought happening spur of the moment. Wow. What's your question?
How would you feel about there being additional categories, just as so they have male and female split off, because usually in a movie you're defining a role as a man or a woman. How would you feel if there is a category for Latino, Latina, or African American?
Ooh.
I can answer that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can answer that. I'm gonna say no. No, and it's not a bad question. Because it's funny. Hollywood has tried to use black as a genre. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Just because it's a Kevin Hart film, it's comedy. It's not a black comedy or it's a Kevin Hart. It's a comedy. So it goes under the same type of comedy films. Like if it was, I can't even think of anything that's like majority white people in it. But we want to be in films where there's no color first. It's not like, oh, this is a black movie. We just want to be in movies that are being recognized at the academies, not where it has to be, okay, the best black actor or the best black movie or the best black romance, the best black rom-com, the best black, because that's whack.
Also, do we not learn anything from Ricky? The Golden Globes are already 3 fucking hours long.
That's true.
You start
and then you
segmenting it out
Yeah.
and dividing the races.
Yeah.
Number one, that's not exactly inclusive.
Right.
And number 2, I ain't sitting through no goddamn 5-hour-long award show.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. That too.
I generally agree. Well, I mean, I agree with all of that, but it just sort of seems the same reason for male and female when you have male and female split up. Like to your point as well, that I mean, a comedy is a comedy. Doesn't matter whether it's a man or woman or anything. But there are they cover so many. There's so much out there.
There's so much out there.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Watch everything.
Let me ask this question, Daisy. Do you find that when you're going in for roles, whether it be for Spanish-speaking roles or non-Spanish-speaking roles, do you find that you're, because I mean, the industry is still a little. So do you find that you're getting like stereotypical roles?
Oh yeah. How about I get stereotypical roles in the Spanish community itself? So, well, I mean, maybe it's just the
You could pass for a 19-year-old and a baby.
Oh my god! So I had a commercial. I did a
Fucking
commercial.
what?
I did a commercial, and I literally spoke like I was in my 40s. I was like, oh, like, and then it made me sound very Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in my Spanish community, not a white person did a commercial and then they made me say that. No, my own people made me say that. There's a difference, kind of like let's put it this way, like my old man, he hurt his back. Like, who says that? My old man, like someone older says that,
Right.
And that's something that I said in the commercial. Instead of me saying like my husband suffered a back pain at work, blah blah blah, but I said, oh, my old man, I'm an older person. So that's something stereotypical that I do within my own community, or that I get mom roles, like same thing. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, all of my Spanish commercials are mostly that. I did do some Spanish for like insurance commercials, but yeah, it's pretty cool. My first commercial was for Car Outlet, and it was my first audition as well, and I booked it. So that's when I knew, like, okay, I can definitely do this.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Have you noticed, coming from the acting studio and taking acting classes, have you noticed any, is there anything that you've noticed as a progression in your being an actor from where you were then to where you are now, and has who you are as a person influenced?
Acting can't be taught, I think. I feel bad saying this, for people that went to school for acting, I totally understand, I get it, but I feel like you could just do that without going to university. But then again, I don't have that technique. They're probably better than me. So, but I feel like you should just feel it. Like, I feel like as an actor, I just feel the emotions, and I've been able to do that since I was young. As a girl, you force yourself to cry sometimes. But that's another topic.
That's
a topic.
whole other
But I use that towards acting. Okay. Obviously, I feel like if you're an actor and you've never gone through anything bad, how are you going to bring those emotions up when you act in a movie or something? And also, there's a difference between acting in a commercial and acting in a film.
Right.
Complete two different things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what have you found to be the differences?
Well, commercial is more like, hey guys, welcome, blah, 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 blah. And then your voice gets higher.
Voices.
Happy!
And I was so used to that too. Yeah,
Voices,
exactly.
Everything is like ended on the up.
Yes, and I was so used to it. And so when I took a class at Vagabonds, it was a on-camera class. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh no, you don't do that for TV. Mm-hmm. You kind of basically are like, I didn't know you were going to do that to me.
You bring it all the way down.
Yeah, like and no one's going to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you bring it all the way down.
Yeah, you got to basically whisper it. Like I'm not going to yell it to you. Like as a real person, you actually should say it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be like, hey, why? Hey. Or be dramatic and cry and.
Keep that theater shit at home.
Yeah, and then theater and
weirdos.
There's two different things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, so overall, would you say as a Latina that overall the environment here in Chicago is a supportive one?
Yeah.
Or would you say you feel like you're struggling more than others in the acting realm?
Since I was born here, I feel like I've never experienced racism, I think, like in an aggressive way. And I've never experienced inequality as a woman. I didn't even know that existed till like a few years ago. Like I never grew up like, oh, as a woman, you won't get paid as much as a guy. I didn't even know that existed. I thought that was in the past. Until like when I would watch TV, like they still would bring it up and I'm like, wait, that still goes on? Like I didn't even realize that was going on. I feel like I'm very protected that I don't know exactly like how that feels compared to other people, because also my skin color matters as well with the Latino community. I'm not as dark as another Mexican person, so they deal with other things as well. Maybe as an actor, like if they're darker than me, they probably feel like, oh, she gets it because she's a lighter Hispanic or Latina actor. So it's always something, you know?
Yeah.
There is always something.
There's always something.
There's always something in the biz, as they say. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to throw out one more question.
Okay, last question before we move on.
Just general, like, what role were you most proud of?
I was a mom in this role, but I was proud of it because of the production. It was great. It was my first like film that I did. So it was about a young woman that was pregnant and she didn't know if she should get an abortion or not. And I feel like the production helped. I really like that project that I did, and I was very proud of it. So I think that's like my most proudest thing.
What was the film?
It was it's basically, well, it wasn't really a film. It was more like a commercial for Catholic churches for like pro-life. So that's something that, and it has nothing to do with like what I believe. It has to do more with like how the production was made and how I acted in that film commercial. So I really liked my performance in that. It was like the first time that I actually saw myself be an actual actor, because in my other commercials you're just like you're advertising a product or insurance or whatever.
How did that make you feel when you saw that commercial and you said you felt like, all right, now I'm acting?
The first commercial or the
one
first?
Where
yeah.
you actually got a chance to show some depth.
How did it feel? It made me feel really happy. I was like, okay, like I'm an actual actor.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel like, am I really doing this? Like, it's like, am I legit? Am I being too fake? Mm-hmm. And then when you actually see work of like a short film or something, then you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm not trying to be famous, which is another topic.
True. Yeah.
You either want to be an actor or you either want to be famous.
Yeah. That's true.
Have you ever done a product where, and of course you can't name the brand, but like, have you ever been like advertising a product where it was absolutely terrible and you have to like pretend that it was, like taking a drink of something, you're like, oh yeah, it's great.
I haven't
It
yet.
out.
I haven't yet. I gotta think about that. I feel like I do more like insurance and like lawyer commercials. For products, I'm trying to remember. I can't think of anything from the top of my head.
Do you ever do any research on the insurance or
No.
what?
I'm just here to read the lines.
Yeah.
and
Okay,
then
Joe, we
that's it.
have a whole other segment called Couch Stories where we're going to ask all these questions. We'll get to that in a bit, but I want to ask Daisy one other quick thing before we move on to our next major topic, and that is about, so the Super Bowl was last week
Mhm.
On a Sunday. Now, there has been some interesting controversy that happened, and since, I don't know, we think we covered this already, you happen to be a Latina woman, that I would like to get your thoughts on this. So I saw the halftime show with Shakira and J-Lo. I happened to enjoy it. Joe and I watched it together in a hotel room in India, and that was an experience.
That sounds really funny.
It was very funny. We then watched the rest of it at the eating breakfast.
Did you guys rewatch
This
it?
was
We
like
did.
6 a.m.
Yeah, also 6 in the morning. We were
I think
dedicated.
this is the first halftime show that people rewatched it probably.
Yeah, because it was hot. I enjoyed it. Who doesn't like
It was.
watching Latinas shake their booties?
It was.
But now there's been a big backlash, okay?
What's the
And
backlash?
there's been a lot of whites
Really?
really who have been saying this was just too overly sexualized. I am outraged
Sorry, Dave.
as a white
Did
woman.
they say that about Beyonce?
At the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl, and
But Adam was rocking all tats last year. Right?
Exactly.
What about that commercial with Adriana Lima with the football? Do you guys remember that one?
No,
It's like
but
a
now I'm
Super
sad
Bowl-
that I forgot.
Watch it.
I
It's
don't
like a
remember
Super
that
Bowl
one.
commercial that it was like really hot back then.
I mean,
No one said anything about
Great
it.
taste, less filling.
yeah, exactly. Well, Jennifer Lopez has said that the whole thing is honestly silliness. I happen to agree with J-Lo. I think this is silly, but I'm just curious, Daisy, if you have encountered any of this stigma, because I guess the stereotype is that Latinas know how to shake their thing, and I don't know what it is. White
I
women.
have no rhythm.
What is it, white women? I don't
Does that-
understand. Is it
I'm a
just about
Latina,
flat asses?
yeah.
I don't understand.
I'm a
What is-
Latina,
have you experienced this? Is this
I
a
don't
thing?
have any rhythm.
You don't have any rhythm?
No, like I don't know how to like move. Like
You don't. Well, that's besides.
so
the
that's
point.
something. Yeah. So it's like
Have you
And it-
encountered any of this in your? Have you heard any of this? Is this like a thing that is?
oh, it's
I'm just
definitely a
curious.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a thing.
it's definitely a thing.
Why is it a thing?
I don't know.
Is it?
But then again, like
No, sorry. I was going to say I think it's more the fact that they were allowed to represent their race on a large scale,
mhm.
and the children
tell
in
them.
cages. A lot of white people were pissed off because they didn't like their Super Bowl and their American freedom
yeah.
being tarnished by a truthful message again. So it really pissed them off to see that happening.
I don't understand what the message is that is so controversial here. I don't get why everybody.
It's because they're like they're
Because
taking our
you're
jobs and now they're taking our
civilized.
Super Bowl as well.
You say I'm civil.
But I do have a question. Does anyone know what the deal with the rope was? Shakira had a rope for a second.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
I want to know
I
what
didn't even
the rope.
understand that.
But I loved it.
Apparently
It
that was
great.
Lebanese. It was
something to
Lebanese.
her.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Eastern
I didn't know what that
heritage.
was, but you know,
Something.
I learned something.
Exactly. It was something. She was
Listen,
doing
y'all.
basically a shout out.
I didn't even know she was like half Middle Eastern.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know either. I thought she was
Syrian.
like.
It's so
oh,
funny
like
because
that.
when I was younger, I
Lebanese.
used to love Shakira,
Lebanese.
and I used to love that culture, like the Middle
Yeah.
Eastern culture. Like as a young girl, like I just loved it. There was also a novela about that, but that's another story.
Have you received any hate like that or any backlash like that in the acting world or just being a Latina around at all? No. Okay. So it's just a lot of people on Twitter getting.
It's like he said, like they're just mad because there was like the whole Latina thing and the Super Bowl. They're just pissed that they want their Super
We
Bowl.
want
to
a
be
white.
I
Where
have
are
no
white
idea.
be? I want to see
So I'm
the
guessing-
flat-ass white country
Can you
singer.
please stop?
Where's
You
the
gonna make me like do it. I'm trying to
Where's-
hold my cough, man.
Where's the flat-ass white country singer lady
Channel.
with the blonde hair? I want to see that. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm so stupid.
I have another
Okay.
theory with that too. I mean, that's probably accurate
back.
as well.
He's
but
back.
No,
Very quickly, Joe, we have to move on.
I think it's jealousy. I think
that is
it's the white
Yes.
older white women who are jealous because they don't look like that, none of them move like that.
And you know what?
And the men
all
who
their
are
white
jealous that their
husbands
wives
were
don't
like,
look
oh,
like
that J-Lo,
But
wow.
listen.
Look at that Shakira. Look at, hey, why don't you shake your ass like that? And all the women are like,
But it's not only them. We don't even look like that. That's the thing. It's not just them. We don't look like that. I mean, there's more of us look like that. But I'm saying like that's also a thing that people think Latinas should look that way, but we don't look like that
it's
either.
not just a look. It's kind of it represents a culture that's a bit more open with their sexuality, and they're a bit more comfortable. Latino women are a bit more comfortable expressing their sexuality than more older, reserved white women.
But a lot of white women, well, I don't know. This is a racist thing for me to say. Don't they cheat
Just
on their
say
husbands?
it.
Don't they cheat on their husbands a lot? Like they're very like they try to put this look like a married person. They cheat on their significant other a lot.
oh, there's a topic
And they're
for
like
another
long
day.
marriages?
Cheating.
Yeah.
In the city.
Is that weird for me to say, or does?
No, I think, well, I mean, cheating goes a lot of ways, in a lot of different ways, with a lot of ways. And sometimes people use ways for their ways.
Is that a stereotype for? I didn't know that one.
I don't
Is it a
know if it's a
stereotype around the
stereotype just for white
Latin
women.
No,
community?
I think people cheat. Period. I don't think it's you know, people try to say all black men cheat.
No,
Shut
but I'm
up.
talking about the sexuality part, where like white women are not considered to be like very sexual, but like low key they are. You get what I'm saying?
Well, how can you be sexual when you're going Durgan?
Like they
It's
put
impossible.
a face like marriage, wife.
Yeah.
I would do that, but then when they cheat, they get sexy.
They get dirty.
The only white women that
They get 50 Shades of Grey.
Russian,
straight up,
exactly.
like-
Russian women, French
It's not that
women.
they don't know, they do it, but they don't know what they're
Hello, would you like to see my pussy? I mean, you know, there's only some white women, but Latino women, I think, have a general stereotype of just being overly sexy, and to see that, and then I guarantee you there were some white gentlemen sitting on recliners that were going, hey, babe, get me another beer. I'm gonna watch this halftime show.
I'm gonna watch this shit.
J-Lo and Shakira be shaking their ass on the TV.
See,
Go get me a home cooked meal.
I feel like it was a little bit different. I feel like it's one of those moments where men are sitting on the couch and go, "Oh, look at the lights! Oh, look at those lights! They're really nice lights." Huh?
No,
And
let me
like,
tell you something about white dudes. We have no shame when it comes to looking at ethnic women.
Unless
I
you're
think that
dating
might-
or
I
married,
think
and that's true.
I'm gonna go with
all of it.
Justin on that one. I
Yeah.
agree with him on that
No,
one.
white dudes be cray.
I think they probably like, hey, turn the check. Oh, whoa, wait, is that J-Lo there? Shit, that's Shakira.
Yeah.
Leave that clicker right there, girl. Let me go ahead and check this out for a few more minutes.
I think there's a whole culmination of that. And
Yeah.
all these flat ass white women be upset going on their Twitters. All these Latinas with their shaking their butt. That just doesn't go for.
Britney
Hey,
Spears did it
That was like the 80s, Jay. White girls get booties now, man.
Well, if they pay for them. Anyway. All right. Well, I think that's a good conclusion. White women suck. I'm just kidding. Or do they? I don't know. They suck in so many ways. Hey! Oh. At that point, I was just like, just crash right into the wall.
You
Just
keep this
go.
up, it won't be worth something for you.
Oh, at that point, I'm just like
Yeah.
the car's going into the brick wall. Let's
You
just
just
go
say,
full
fuck,
force. Fuck it.
You just going through
Yeah,
the wall.
it's just
You're
going-
like, fuck.
Let's
here
go. I'll
goes
make it to
nothing.
the other side eventually. It'll be fine. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
Nothing.
Moving right along in
And
other news. Pets. Do you have one? Do you have some? Do you have many? Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? How many pets do you have? Well, let me tell you that apparently the word pets may be offensive to PETA. And no, we're not talking about putting bread into hummus. We're talking about the organization that is for animals. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, P-E-T-A. Now, it has come to my attention after doing much research, which involved me looking on YouTube and seeing some stuff from Good Morning Britain, that had me come to this video where they were talking to some representatives from PETA, and they're basically saying you shouldn't say the word pets because pets is an offensive term to
I don't think pets are here.
Seriously, Jay? Is that what
This is
What would we
yes.
call them
Is
besides
that what
that,
people
though?
say?
Well, let me read some things. Let me read some things here for you.
All right, let's go.
Let me give you some.
Give us some context. Let's
A
go.
lot of people at home who have dogs or cats will call them pets and refer to themselves as owners, and this implies that the animals are a possession, like a car, for example. Said somebody important at PETA. When you refer to animals not as living beings as they are, but as inanimate objects, it can reflect our treatment of these animals. So, what was PETA's great theory or solution to this? Well, let's stop using anti-animal language. So instead of saying kill two birds with one stone,
What do they say, Jay?
we should say feed two birds with one scone. God, I love me some scones, and so do birds. Don't say be the guinea pig. Say be the test tube. I don't know about that. Don't say beat a dead horse.
What do they say, Jay?
Say feed a fed horse. Don't bring home the bacon.
What are you gonna bring home then, Jay?
You're gonna bring home the bagels. Bring home those bagels. And lastly, but not leastly, don't be dying over it.
Dude, this is straight comedy.
Don't take the bull by the horns. You got to take the flower by the thorns. Who the fuck is gonna take? You'd have to have many hands to take thorns. This is fucking ridiculous.
Jay, I don't think PETA got that much going on in the office, man. So they basically were sitting up one day, like on a Tuesday, like, why don't we take all of those bad sayings and put fun words with it?
Yeah,
happy words.
Were they doing a Mad Libs?
Dude,
What the fuck is this?
yeah, man. That's exactly what they were doing.
Exactly. What word can we throw in here, dude? Fuck. What was the one?
Hey, but
dude, the one with the bagels.
Yeah.
Bring home the bagels.
Bring home the bagels.
What in the shit see? But here's the thing.
Hey, what about
Because
people
bagels have been known to be
man.
used as a sexual thing
what
for
about
females. So
the hey, man.
down there, you know what I'm saying? So that could be offensive to women.
That's true.
So I guess people at PETA love animals more than people.
Bagels,
So I don't know. This is a hell of a thing. Yeah, you got something to say?
Who the fuck are saying these phrases anymore?
That's the point. They're trying to
right.
say that you should say them. Well, I say don't beat a dead horse.
Hey,
I don't say bring home the bacon as much. I've never even heard of feed the guinea pig.
bacon.
Oh, so wait,
Feed
the
two birds
problem
with a
is the
scone.
white
Oh my God.
people.
What about white people?
You
What are you
white
blaming us
people-
for now?
You white people are bringing home the bacon and grabbing the bagels by the horn. You're the
Bagels
issue.
don't have horn. You're just being ridiculous. You just wanted a photo.
Hey, that was a
You
good
just
one.
wanted
Good
my
one,
guilt. You wanted white guilt face. I'm not giving it to you.
All right, got
So what? I have no shame for these. David, do you use any of these phrases?
shows
No,
his-
I just
He shows his white guilt face off camera.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
don't remember the last time I said the word pet. I always say like the
I have a
dog's
dog.
name.
Right.
That's true.
Like, oh, how's Obi?
I mean,
I have a
Whatever.
dog. I have a cat. But you're buying the animal.
Hey, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with changing the words out.
How's
I'm cool with this. I love
Yeah.
my animals, man. They're like they're family. My
so
animals
what
are
would
family.
we name them then?
I mean, my animals, they're family. They're family members.
They're supposed to
dog?
be. They're saying that you should be calling them your companions now.
Companions, yeah.
My companion.
You should.
My companion.
You
Raven.
can't say that.
Some people might think something else.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
know,
saying. It might
they're
be
like-
like
they're
your
like,
same partner.
Oh,
Right.
that's how they are.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm
Isn't
saying.
that
Like,
what
you
the
can be a
word?
This
straight
whole thing
man.
is ridiculous.
Straight man.
Isn't that what
saying-
the word pet means?
Companion?
Yes. Dog's best, man's best friend is a dog. Cats were worshipped. I mean, it's not like we're treating these animals poorly. So some people do, but most of us are good people. We love our pets. I think it's ridiculous they're trying to get rid of the word.
There's some people out there that's straight up assholes when it comes to animals.
This is true.
You
This
know,
is true.
So, that's why PETA is around. And for you assholes that do not take care of your dogs, like, if you got a dog, please take your dog to the vet. I mean, at least once
Get it
a
spayed
year.
and neutered.
At least once a year for a checkup,
Yeah, I mean,
at
legals
least.
don't do that.
Come
You know what I'm saying? You got people that got dogs, man, and they've never seen the inside of a dog hospital, vet, anything.
Yeah.
They just feed their dog table food and, they just let them just figure it out.
Yeah.
Like if something's wrong with them. That's wrong. That's not cool at all.
Daisy, what do you think about this topic? What are you saying you don't use the word pet?
I never, like I said,
overall?
I never even said the word pet. I just say either dog or cat or whatever the animal is.
Would you adopt these new phrases?
No, I never said that in my actual life, so I wouldn't know.
Hell no.
Stupid. This is the
Hell
dumbest
no.
thing.
Man, if someone said that shit to me, I'd be like, dude.
I feel like pet is an inclusive term. It's
There's even a movie called Pets. Like,
Yeah.
you're screwed.
right, but I mean, I think the general vernacular would be, oh, do you have? Well, they would say, hey, do you have any pets? That's the question, and they go, I have a dog.
Do you have any
I have a
companions?
cat. Do you have any? Yeah, I just feel like that would be misconstrued.
Do you have any companions?
I have many companions. Many of them are acquaintances. Some of them are friends, and some of them have been lovers. Fucking ridiculous.
That's
Get me the
like-
fuck out
You
of
know,
here.
like bestiality. That's what I'm saying.
Only,
Sorry. I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up really soon. We got like one more segment to go.
Oh,
So you should just hold.
Hang in there. Don't worry. You will survive to
It's
another
weird.
time.
I know it goes through like shit through a goose. Hey! Uh-oh, how do you feel about that, PETA? All right, God, they're gonna like send me a subpoena.
oh no.
Peter gonna see subpoena.
Yeah, PETA's gonna give me a subpoena.
Peter subpoena.
Fucking hell. I think it legitimately was that PETA was like, we're irrelevant right now. What's something we
That's
Yeah.
my point, G.
To
They
piss
was
everybody
They
off.
was sitting up in there like, what are we gonna do?
Nobody's listening to us now. We need to be relevant. And then they came up with this nonsense. I don't think it's gonna take off.
Is that a job? Do they pay? 9 to
Yeah.
5? Oh, fuck
Hey, you
yeah.
want an application?
Oh, hell yeah.
Peter, baby.
You would, Norm.
I'll work at Peter.
You work at PETA? I'll work there if they serve PETA. Give me that hummus, man! Oh! There's cultural inclusion. All right. It's PETA. You're done. You're done. Okay. We're not changing. We're using the word pets. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
pets.
And also, I would only use the word pets if I'm like, oh, I have pets. I have a dog. I have a snake. I have a cat. I've got many pets. Otherwise, I'm like, I have a dog. Shut the fuck up. All right. Well, moving right along in other news. Before we come to our next segment, this episode is also sponsored by Connie's Pizza. That's right, Connie's Pizza. You can find one pretty much all over Chicagoland. Hey, Chicago, do you like relatively priced, very delicious pizza with a delicious sauce, wonderful toppings that you can choose from pretty much anywhere, and a very fast delivery service that has a Chicago brand and Chicago name? Well, then Connie's Pizza is for you. Connie's Pizza. We're everywhere. Our pizza is more delicious than all the shitty chains like Domino's and Papa John's and Caesar's. So if you want a quality pizza at a reasonably affordable price, then go to Connie's. We're everywhere. Please buy our pizza. Okay. That was Connie's. Thanks so much, Connie's, for sending us that wonderful.
Thanks, Scotty.
Well, that was some copy, man.
Hey, you got through that copy.
I know.
That was
It's crazy, that copy. I tell you.
Yeah.
They got some wonderful marketing.
The fact that they let that get through.
Yeah.
Like no quality control on that one, huh?
But they're very polite. They said please.
They did say please once.
You know, they have me on their little like commercial thing on Southside over
Did they?
here.
So you
Like
get like
certain
free
pizza.
Connie's when you go?
50%.
Nice.
I think it's free time.
We should have got Connie's tonight.
You know what? This episode is sponsored
It
by.
is by.
Okay,
It is. So now we come to our favorite. I know we're gonna get through this for you, Days. I promise. We're at
I'll
the
be
end.
fast, I swear to God. Okay.
So many jokes. All right, let's get to the last segment of the show, and that is our favorite segment. That is, Ron, help me out. It's time for the Jag Off of the Week.
That's right, John.
All right, it's the Jag Off. This week's Jag Off is the dude from the TSA who tried to get a lady to expose her breastises.
Say it again.
To expose her breastises.
Say it one more time.
To expose her titties to the.
How?
You thought I was gonna say breastises. That threw me for a loop, motherfucker.
Yeah, you did. That was
You're
good.
welcome. It's called comedy. All right, moving along.
Yo, this guy. No, you have to get through
we have to.
this.
He's a total douche. He's a
He
douche
really
and a
is.
jag off. dude, this guy. Okay, so it's in Los Angeles. This guy, he's out there, and he's like, he first said he had to look inside her bra to make sure she wasn't hiding anything. Then he had to hold her pants away from her waist so he could look inside. He subsequently took her to what he said would be a private room for more security screening, according to an arrest affidavit. But once they were alone on an elevator, she said he told her he could do the screening right there. The woman said this guy told her to make sure she still had nothing in her bra, implying her to lift up her shirt to show me your full breastises. He didn't say that, but that's how I'm referring to them now. He also, again, looked down her pants. Oh my God, that sounds awful.
Dude,
before telling her she was free to go and adding that and he complimented her breastises.
Yes. I was waiting for you to say that part.
Holy fucking shit.
He even slipped in like, oh,
Bruh.
Nice. You
Bruh.
mother.
Bruh.
I'm
You're
glad,
a jag-off.
let me say this. I'm glad they picked your ass up from the crib.
Damn.
On your day off, glad they got your ass.
Dude, what a jag-off.
Man. You're a
Daisy.
piece of shit, dude.
Daisy, as a female,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
Like, what do you? I think you're just. You freeze. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
You're in shock. So you don't do anything about it until later on when you process it. You're like, okay.
That was weird.
I don't know. I mean, it depends who you are. Like, I'm at the club. The guys just grab you and start dancing. I'm literally at the club, like, going like this to, like, all the guys. But that's just me, my reflex, you know? But there's people that just, like, let it happen.
Well, clubs are a whole other...
Yeah.
We can have a whole segment talking about club life.
Talk about club life.
The Neanderthals that just, it's like cavemen and shit. They like just club a girl in the head.
Just don't know how to deal with
throw her over the shoulder or drag her ass out.
Man, there are better ways to deal with females.
Yeah.
God, you fucking tards.
Yeah, like being polite.
Jesus. You jag off.
Being polite.
Goes a long way.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that aggravates me. It just aggravates me, these stories.
That story, when you sent that link over, and I was, reading through different ones, and I was like, at first I was like, nope. And I saw that one, I was like, oh yeah. This one is the supreme jag. Yeah. That could be jag off for a month. Mm-hmm. The fact that he had her open her pants up and he pulled her pants away from her so he can look down her pants like more than once.
In the elevator?
Yeah, he did it in the elevator.
Oh, breastises.
Yeah, and he just casually slipped that in. You know?
God.
What an asshole.
God.
You're an asshole
clearly
too.
does not get any. That would be my...
Dude, you know what? People that do stuff like this.
Sir, it's called Pornhub.com.
No, it's called Go Get a Therapist. Okay, go talk to somebody, man, because you that's some predatorial shit.
That is predatorial.
That's next.
Daisy, would you like to give this gentleman the 1-2 pow jag off?
How do you do that?
Just call him a jag off as much as you want.
Yeah, because Justin just kind of threw in the whole pow.
So you're gonna say what a jag off?
Yeah.
What a jag off.
Fucking
you mother
jag off.
You know what? Hey, let's say what's his name? Can we pronounce his name?
That's Lomelli.
Lomelli?
Lomelli.
We'll spell
Woman
his last
said
name.
Lomelli.
Lomelli.
His name is Lomelli. So we give him a 1, 2, 3. You're a jag off, Lomelli.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh wow, that almost
You're a
works.
jag off.
Yeah. You're a jag off, Lomelli. On the count of 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. You're a jag off, Lomelli. Yeah. Fucking. All right. Well, that concludes this episode of the Chicago 60 podcast. Daisy's happy because she's going to go to the bathroom now, and we're happy because Daisy was here. Yay! First of all, I'd like to thank our wonderful guest, Daisy Isamary Hernandez, for being here and sharing all of her thoughts and everything like that. Daisy, please tell the wonderful people of Chicago where they can find you.
Oh, you guys can find me on YouTube. Daisy Isamary. You can find me on Instagram, Daisy Isamary, which is DAISYISAMARY. I hope I spelled that correctly. And you can listen to the Flower Power podcast on iTunes. And we'll be coming back because I got inspiration from these guys. So definitely going back to the Flower Power podcast. So
Excellent. We will be posting all of her links and everything and all the YouTube videos in the descriptions of all the things that we'll be posting.
Yes.
So if you didn't hear her the first time, just look for the description and find her there. All right. Now, I want to thank Daisy for being here. I also want to thank my man Ron Russell for being here.
I'm sorry for all the coughing. I promise you I'll be better next week. But I definitely wanted to be here. I did not want to cancel. I do apologize for coughing all on everybody. But the good thing is, it's not that corona.
That's true.
It's just a cough.
That's right. So we're all not going to die, which is good. I want to thank my main man, Quiet Storm and Norman, over there for taking all the photos and doing all the production in the booth.
Right.
Thank you, Quiet Storm and Norman. And our good pal J-LO, who's been doing BTS, taking photos, taking video, and giving some great questions. Thank you for back, Joe. And I, of course, am your one J-War. Thank you for being here.
Guys.
Now, everybody, if you like what you listen to, and if you're watching this on the Facebooks, please give us a like, send us a follow, or just don't send us a follow, just follow us. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, because we have a lot of new stuff. Hey, every Thursday, coming out, starting now, a new comedy video from the Chicago 60. Woo! That's right, that's happening. So you better hit that subscription. Also, we're on Spotify, so follow us there, like us there. If you're listening to this on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. And also subscribe to us there, or I don't know, or Spotify. I don't give a shit. Just listen to us on one of those platforms and give us the likes, yo. And then our Instagram is Chicago_60. That's what the numbers this time. Chicago_60. You can follow us there. Our Patreon account we will be announcing soon. It is up. It is not live. When it is live, you will know, so you can give us the monies, so we can keep bringing you this amazing content. So please keep following us, like us. Help us do more of this shit, and we will see you next week. But before we end this episode,
before that though, I like how you said, "Yo, give us the monies."
The monies would be nice.
Yes.
Give us the monies. But before we end this episode, we have to end with our favorite phrase of all time. Daisy, are you ready?
Yes.
And that is on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Bear down and fuck the Packers. All right, everybody else, another episode of Chicago 60. We shall see you next week.
Boys, let's go.
This is the end.